Hey everybody, I hope you guys are having a great day, whether you're having a great morning, great afternoon, or great night. I hope it's good for you guys. For some people who are just about ready to finish high school or college or whatever program that you guys are working on, right now this is probably like just the most beautiful word in the world to you right now, and that is retirement. And for some of you guys, it's your biggest goal in the world. You're like, I just want to sit on a beach and relax and enjoy the ocean and the waves and money's in the bank and I don't have to work the rest of my life and enjoy everything. And for some of you who are a little bit older, retirement might feel like a pipe dream or something unattainable. And for others, it might really feel like extremely abstract, like this is never going to happen, or it could be something that is really fearful where you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to stop working, I enjoy working, like this is part of my identity and things in that. So retirement can mean a whole lot. I remember when I was getting out of high school, I just my first thought was, get me rich, get me wealthy, whatever job will take me there. I just want to sit on my butt and do nothing. And now that I have been a teacher for 12 years now, more than a decade, wow, that's weird to think about. I'm now like, wow, retirement. It is only 24 years away for me, which is just bizarre, but it's coming. I'm a third done with my career, and it feels like I've blinked twice, and I'm here now. So, anyways, I want you guys thinking about retirement. I like doing this at the very beginning because of the idea of start with the end first. That way you're like, okay, what is my goal? What is my direction? Where am I going in this world? So, okay, so this is part of the assignment, and these are some of the questions that are going to help guide your response about retirement. So, what we want you to think about is like, hey, when you look back on your career, maybe you worked 20, 30, 40 years, maybe even I've actually worked with teachers who've worked for 50 years. I don't know how they did it. I will never do that. I hope. But like, so we want you to think about that. So, what job did you have? What did you do? Did you enjoy it? More than just the financial means that it paid you. What did you get out of it? How did others look upon you in the career field? Were you a leader? Were you a follower? Both are fine, but just like what type of person were you? What did you mean to the school, the organization, the company, the industry? Where did you fit in that world? And basically, when you walk away from everything, what are people going to remember about you? What's the bigger picture here rather than just the day in and day out sort of stuff? So, those are things that we want you to think about. So, now to go above and beyond the assignment, I want you guys to think a little bit more financially on the next one. So, let's get into some scary news because I've been looking at these statistics for the last couple years, and they're kind of scary, but here we go. Okay, surprising fact number one, and all this information right here comes from Investopedia. You can find the link right down here where I got this information, and I've been going over it, and I'm a little shocked. So I want you guys to be better off and to improve these statistics. So number one, it could last longer than you think. The average person, according to this article, will retire at 66, and the average American will pass away around the age of 79 years old. So there's 13 years of not working and still paying for stuff. Maybe your house or mortgage is paid off. Maybe you are going to rent until the day you die. So take a look at those financial statistics. Maybe you might, scary notion that I talk to a lot of people who are retirees, former teachers and other retirees, family included. Their biggest worry is they are going to outlive how much money they have. So that is one big fear. So when can you start investing? As soon as humanly possible. Me personally, on a personal note, I started at 19 years old. I just started putting a little bit of money, $10, $15 in every single month from every paycheck, and just kept working or kept adding to it. And then every year, if I got a raise, my retirement would get a raise too, and still does. Um, Also, on a side note, I would highly recommend, they sound totally expensive and they totally are not. Maybe think about getting a financial advisor. You can literally go outside, throw a rock any direction, keep walking, and you will run into a financial advisor. They are everywhere. You can turn on TV, the internet, and you will see a commercial in the next 30 minutes. I pretty much almost guarantee it. Unless you're watching a streaming service where there are no commercials, then I'm sorry. They'll eventually be there. So actually, I'm looking at one of my side screens with advertisement on it on this website, and there's a financial advisor right there. They will not leave you alone. Here's a reason why they're a lot cheaper than you think. A lot of times, they only make money when you make money. So sometimes they'll make somewhere between 1 to 2% off of your earnings. So they are motivated to make you money, because when they make you money, they get money. Me personally, with my financial advisor, a guy named Tim, he makes 1.2% off of all of the money that my money is making. I have never personally written him a check ever. Actually, every July when we go out for coffee, he normally buys me a coffee. So I'm like, hey, it cost me just an hour of my time every year. So he has hundreds of clients, but we meet every year, and it's just something that I highly advise and doesn't cost a lot of money as most people think they do. And then also my other piece of advice, I'm stealing this from another financial guru. His name's Dave Ramsey. You've probably heard of him. Crazy funny guy from Tennessee. He has a radio show, YouTube channel, you name it, he's got it. Find a financial advisor. There's only about 15% of them out there with the heart of a teacher. A financial advisor should never make you feel stupid. They should sit there and answer every single one of your questions, because honestly, they will hit you with all these big words, and then when you break it down what those words actually mean, it's not that difficult to understand. So, anyways, wow, that was the first one. Okay, let's get through the next ones a little bit faster. Number two, Social Security is not enough. The average amount for 2019 is only $1,461 per month, which comes out to $17,532 a year in Social Security. Typically, most places will tell you that will only cover about 40% of all of your expenses. So if you think you're going to retire just off Social Security, don't let the shocker surprise you. This will pay for around 40%, but it's not going to cover everything for most Americans. Americans, we are way behind on savings. So when should you start saving and investing? As soon as humanly possible. This is what also scares me. Only half of Americans have a retirement plan. I'm not just talking like financially, but also, where are you going to live? What are you going to do? What's retirement going to look like? Are you going to be making more, the same, or less than when you were in your working years? So start planning now. Surprisingly, and I have family doing this. For example, my father went from 5 jobs in his working age to now 2 jobs. Actually, last month, according to some of the bureaus of labor and statistics, they were saying that the number one demographic of people getting hired right now are people in their retirement age, the baby boomers. They're coming back. Why? Well, let's go back a couple, and they say, well, only half of them had a retirement plan. They realize, oh, the money ran out. I got to go back to work. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I hit 65, I personally would like to be done and no longer working, unless it's something I choose that I want to do, not that I have to do. Um, and then lastly, Medicare, something that we all pay 1.2% in our paychecks for every single month. Medicare does not cover assisted living. Now, when I say assisted living, I mean you are in a facility that has whether nurses or caretakers, who are just the most amazing people in the world. Um, they are helping you live day in and day out. Some are very like one-on-one attention. Some of them are very hands-off, and you're living um, your life on your own, but you are in an assisted facility. Medicare does not cover this. A lot of people think it does, but it does not. Actually, they will drain out your entire savings, your retirement. the government can actually force you to sell your home until you're basically down to, I think it's, I believe, around $2,000 until Medicare will come and kick in. Personally, we had my grandmother about 5-6 years ago. She, at 90 years old, she went into assisted living, and for 1 year it cost over $45,000. Now, in her situation, she stayed at home and she went from part-time care coming in, and then near the end of the year, she had around-the-clock help and service. At the very end of the road, it is extraordinarily expensive. So I don't want you guys to be shocked or surprised or anything by some of this. So please go to the article, go do more research on this. Trust me, there is so much more research on this. I want you guys just to be more aware of this, not just for yourself, but maybe your parents or your grandparents if they are going to be coming up to the end of the road on this. Okay, let's get on to some happy news. So, this is from usnews.com. I found this as a really fun article for you guys to read, so please check it out. How to transition into retirement, not just financially, a little bit financially, but a little bit more like, okay, how do we do this? So number one, start investing as soon as humanly possible. 18, 19 years old, if you can, fantastic. If you can't, the moment you get a job or full-time salary, hit it right then and there. Get used to that amount of money getting taken out and putting it into retirement. Okay, next, figure out your finances. How much is your monthly day in, day out expenses going to be? Like I said before, are you going to be making more, the same, or less than in your working years, but for retirement? I know my financial advisor, Tim, he always asks me, hey, he's like, hey, when you hit retirement, how much money do you need? So that's something we always talk about. Where do you want to live? Now, a lot of people don't know this, but depending upon what state you live on can really, really depend on how much you're going to be taxed. So you could actually pick up and move. Looking at some graphs, you'll find that the number one place to live statistically for finances, where you get to keep most of your money, is actually the state of Wyoming. And one of the other top, I think, two or three is also Florida. So it really depends on if there's a state income tax, a city income tax. So like, for example, if you live in Baltimore, Maryland, you're going to pay a city, a state, and a federal tax. They're going to take a lot of your money. Just by moving, you can save a lot. Or maybe you want to pick up and move and live internationally. So those are things to think about. What are you going to do in your spare time? You're going to go from working maybe 40 to 60 hours per week, and now all of a sudden you have all the time in the world. Oh, okay, so what are you going to do with your time? One scary thing that I was reading an article on and I've seen firsthand is if you literally go from working all your life and then just stopping, doing nothing, maybe just sitting at home watching TV, your average lifespan now is now only 4 to 6 years. If all you're doing is staying at home, eating, watching TV, relaxing, and just that, you have now cut your retirement lifespan almost in half. If full is 13 years, that's bringing it down to 4 to 6 years. So think about what are you going to do. Maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's having weekly outings with friends where you catch up, do stuff. Maybe it's traveling. That's one thing that my wife and I would like to do, is do a lot more traveling. Maybe you want to consider a gradual retirement. Maybe you have a job that can go from 40, 60 hours a week, maybe down to 20. So maybe slowly weaning off and getting used to it. I know, seeing a lot of friends and family who've transitioned into retirement. Surprisingly, it was really hard on almost all of them, where they were actually really sad to leave, because when you think about it, at first you're like, I can't wait to retire when I'm really young. But then you get up there and you're like, man, that's my social network. That's where my friends are at. I love my job. Like, there's safety and security in your check every single month. So it's not easy to retire, but after about a year, I noticed that in my personal experience, it was a lot easier. Number six, I kind of touched on this. Build up a social network. Don't get disconnected. Human beings are not islands. We need to be connected to others. Take care of your health. Whatever activity it is that gets you moving, take care of your health and keep moving. Don't stop. Actually, you're going to love this. My grandma's boyfriend, who passed away at 98 years old, Eben, I love him to death. I miss him every day. He was a World War II vet. He was on Omaha Beach D-Day +2. Um, and he lived to 98 years old. And I was asked him, I go, what is your secret to longevity? And he goes, don't stop. He goes, yeah, you might stop working and collecting a paycheck every single month from your job, but don't stop. Just keep moving. And then lastly, I think the only constant in this life is change. And I know a lot of people hang on to however life was before. But in retirement, accept change, accept the reality that things are going to be different. So I hope you guys enjoy this and do a lot of self-reflection on how you want to end your career. I hope you guys have a good morning, good evening, or good night. Take care.